Hey, what's up, witches? It's me, Luna, here with a look at the full moon chart for October 20th, 2021. This full moon happens at 10:56 a.m. in the Eastern time zone, so adjust that for yours, please. Okay, so here we are with no house cusps. Let's go down to the chart signature, and we see that we've got a pretty strong Libra chart signature. We've got air sticking out, definitely ahead of fire, and we've got cardinal sticking way out. So we have three planets in Libra: Mercury, Sun, and Mars, but that Libra chart signature is helped by the fact that we also have Pluto, Chiron, and the moon in cardinal signs, and we have Saturn, Jupiter, and the North Node in air signs. So that cardinal air signature is just reinforced, which means the energy is oriented to the present. That's the cardinal signs. Very reactive are the cardinal signs. They don't like sit around and wait to react to things. They react in the now. And air says that we're going to be a little more intellectually oriented, a little more verbally oriented. So consider that when you're planning your spell work or whatever. A great time to do a chant. Great time to do something that has words in it for your spell. We have a pretty low score of water here, so while we're kind of reactive, it's not emotionally reactive. We're just processing things in the now. And we also have a shortfall on fixity, so it's not going to be too easy to stick to things. Mutability is also strong, so we have the ability to adapt and change. But Earth is, there's a good amount of Earth there, so we can be practical about things too. But the shortfall is definitely in the emotional, which I'm looking at that as a plus on a full moon, that we're not going to be all in our feelings. So let's look at the configurations we have. Of course, we have the Sun-Moon opposition at 27 degrees of Libra. The Libra-Aries opposition is about, quite literally, me versus us. And not even you, really. It's me versus us. So we have to work out, the conflict comes between the things that I want, and we've got the moon in Aries here, so there's where we get the reactiveness on an emotional level. Moon can be looked at as sort of your perceptions, how you perceive things happening. So that's, how you react to things has everything to do with how you perceive them. So Aries moon kind of perceives things as a fight. Something to be fought, something to be conquered, something to be defeated, And then the sun in Libra is, we are all about the collective, all about how do you feel? What's the best thing for us? So emotionally, we're looking for our security in terms of me getting what I need. But sun-wise, our creative expression is all about for the good of the whole. And we've got Mars conjuncting the sun here. Yes, it's 4 degrees off. So by transit, that is considered too wide to be an aspect, but we're talking about the sun here. So I'm gonna call that a conjunction. The sun Mars have been together for a little while now. And it just puts a lot more oomph, a lot more passion, a lot more drive and motivation, a lot more hot-headedness behind the things that we're trying to express. And I do kind of love the Sun-Mars conjunction in Libra, because it really accurately reflects what's going on in the U.S. in particular with the workers' strikes, with people, not going to work for the sake of the greater good, that we're going to strike in order to make the company do things that are more fair for everybody else. So I'm willing to take a bullet so that others can have a better situation and a better future, and that's a wonderful thing. Opposed by the moon, though, that can make us a little more reactive than we really want to be when we're working towards the greater good and working towards negotiating and diplomacy and all this kind of stuff. And with the strikes going on, it's all about negotiations, right? Well, this full moon is going to make some of those negotiations, I think, spill over into just a lot of reactiveness. So we need to be aware of that if you're in any of those situations. But of course, when I look at these full moon charts, I'm just looking at what you can do with the energies for your full moon ritual. So the Sun-Mars conjunction just says that we've got a lot of personal power to work with here. We've got a lot of Libra power, which brings things into balance, which considers the other in what we want. The moon in Aries, there's a lot of emotional energy there as well. And let's look at this T-square. Even though, interesting, we've got Sun Moon, of course, the exact at 27 degrees. And then we've got a Mars-Pluto exact square. It's only 1 degree apart. So that is exact. But I am going to consider the T-square because Pluto squares Mars. Mars is conjuncting the Sun. Sun is opposing Moon. So, even though we're off by like 3-4 degrees here, I'm going to consider this T-square. Pluto at the apex. Pluto squaring both the Sun and the Moon. Pluto really intensifies everything. It brings forth a sense of wanting to dominate, to manipulate, to force. I'm going to make you feel this way. I'm going to make you behave that way. When we've got it squaring the Sun, which is our personal power, which is, Sun in transit is just about creative expression. We're looking for something super potent, and in a square, it generates tension, which means it generates energy. That energy is usable if you know it's there and you don't let it use you. So we have serious potency here with the Pluto-Mars square. Sexual energy, creative energy, massive passion and drive and, do or die kind of energy here. Squaring the Moon, it can make emotions feel incredibly intense and maybe even insurmountable. But remember that this is a cardinal T-square, so while it is reactive in the now, it also has the ability to move on. It's like if it were a fixed T-square, we would be just getting ridden like a bad pony by these intense energies. But because it is cardinal, it means that the reaction is strong, but then I can move on. I can get over it, okay? Still, looking at this configuration, Mars-Moon opposition there is also going to be talking about hot-headedness, so we're certainly not lacking any kind of intense energy for the full moon, which is intense all by itself. But magically, there's a lot of potency here. There's fertility. There's potency is a really good word. Look at Mars. Mars is potency. Mars is a boner. Pluto also rules Scorpio, which rules sexuality and magic. So you've heard me say all of these things before. So we have the ability to be in the now here and to drum up, maybe even literally if you raise energy with drumming, to drum up just intensive, transformative, magical energy. So, the Pluto-Sun square can also talk about tensions that make you want to turn yourself inside out a little bit, recreate yourself, roll over your emotions with the Pluto-Moon square. So just be more sensitive to where you're at and don't push yourself too far, is what I will say there. We do have a couple other exact aspects. Let's look at Mars trining Jupiter. This is in air signs. So a Mars-Jupiter trine makes it very easy to just broaden your mind. Look at Jupiter in Aquarius being the sign of the inventor, and Jupiter being an adventurous mindset and broad-mindedness. And when we trine it to Mars, it's like we can just go with new ideas, looking at how we can connect with people, how we can restructure things, how we can reinvent our social contract with Jupiter sitting there in Aquarius. So the Mars trine just says it's really easy to move forward, to kick those ideas in the pants and actually launch them and get them going. Thank God Mercury's direct, right? We have Mercury. Speaking of Mercury, and one more note about the trine there. Always remember, just because it's a trine doesn't mean it's good, okay? It means it's easy. It means ease. So it would also be very easy to go overboard in trying to sort of push your ideas on other people or, get yourself heard. We could be just a little too strident there is what I'm thinking. And a little too pompous. Watch out for pomposity there too as well. Okay, let's look at the Mercury opposing Chiron. We can get benefit here if we talk about how we're feeling and we talk about our trauma and our woundedness, and you've heard me say this many times too. But we do have an opposition. So conflict can come. When we are trying to, Mercury in Libra, negotiate, when we're trying to talk something out, trouble can come because we're going to trigger somebody, because somebody's wounds in Aries, Chiron in Aries, talk about your hair trigger. So we need to be especially careful and especially ready to use that Mercury in Libra energy, which means that our speech is kind, that our speech is fair, and it really is about diplomacy and listening as much as we talk. That's the Libra balance there. So we're going to need those Mercury and Libra skills because people could be especially touchy with Chiron opposing Libra there. All right, let me see what else we got here. We have Jupiter. All right, no, I'm not going to look at that. Hold on, sorry, you guys. Give me just a second here. There it is. We've got the Venus in conjunct to Uranus. And let's see here. In conjuncts, remember, require adjustment. They want us to sort things out because things are not quite aligned. They're sort of rubbing against each other. Not out and out conflict, just some discomfort that causes us to adjust. So Venus energy is our affection, how we express affection, the pleasure principle, what we take pleasure in, how we enjoy things, and Uranus is the awakener. So the adjustment here is between getting kind of lost in pleasures, ever-expanding pleasures. Venus in Sagittarius means that I just want to do it to the nth degree. And we've got Uranus in Taurus, which says updating things on a practical level. So we need to adjust between just seeking pleasure and bringing in change, still maintaining the awareness to bring in change where it's needed. Uranus can cause us to feel discomfort around things that need to be changed. Venus makes us, especially in Sagittarius, just want to be awash in pleasure, to just go out into the world and find everything that feels good, tastes good, smells good, sounds good, all of that stuff. So we need to adjust between us kind of collapsing into just wanting fun, and being aware of the things that are uncomfortable because these are things that need to be updated and changed. Okay, I think that might be all I have to say about that. Let me take one last look. Yes, indeed it is, because everything else is too wide to be in aspect. So I hope you got something out of that, and I hope that you will take advantage of that cardinal T-square, and you might find you get an idea quickly over what you want to do. Think about Samhain coming up. Think in terms of remaking yourself in terms of what I am expressing, how I react to things. That Pluto energy says we can really take a look at things and do some restructuring from a really deep level. Magic will be available in abundance, lots of energy to use on this full moon. I hope you have the ability to take advantage of it. Tomorrow evening, I will be on my live stream doing readings for the signs, so we'll be able to catch that full moon energy as a group, and I hope to see you there. I really thank you for hanging out with me. Please feel free to hit a couple of donation buttons down there if you want to shoot me $1 or $2. Nothing is too small, and I really appreciate everything you do. And until I see you next time, this is Luna. Blessed be.